Hawkins at 5'11", is able to win the tip for the Hornets.
Well, off to a strong start there.
So there's Farrah Pearson. She started all 7 games this season, the only player on the Hornets who has that accomplishment to their name. Crawford, she's really the strong three-point shooter on this team. Shoots 44% from downtown on the season.
Let's see what Ohio State tries to do here. They rode J.C. Sheldon, her hot hand in the last game. We'll see if they try to get back to Mikula Shikova in the paint or if they still want to ride beyond the arc.
So there's Crawford trying to work it inside for Pearson, who draws the foul. And head coach Freeman Jackson really likes her play, as evident by her being the only player to start all 7 games for Alabama State.
She certainly brings the bigger presence inside, something that Alabama State no doubt likes about her game and wants to take advantage of as they go forward in the season.
Pearson averages 4.2 points per game. Does not make any there, and we're still scoreless. Mikolashikova needs help, finds Poole. Guarded by Sanders, and Poole's able to keep it in play.
Alabama defense looking fantastic right there.
Mikolashikova's lethal inside, and she scores the first 2 points of the basketball game.
Textbook drop step from Mikula Shikova, and the Hornets had nothing to contest it.
Mikolashikova has really had an outstanding season, especially looking at the points. 13.7 points per game for Rebecca Mikolashikova. That's 3rd highest on the team as Mikesell gets a hand on the ball and knocks it out of bounds.
Season to UConn. She's now getting to be the leader in that front court in between, the dashes of the painted area. And you're starting to see her excel there, not only in scoring in the paint, but also rebounding.
Shot clock violation.
What I can only assume is Freeman Jackson's strategy, putting out different lineups in each of the games here. She's just trying to figure out what fits. So the fact that you're coming off the bench rather than starting, I wouldn't look at it as a negative per se in her eyes, just as a, hey, I want to try this out really quick. Give me a minute to do so.
Armani Smith with the ball now. She's in the game. This is only her 2nd game on the season, just played 6 minutes. Last game against Jacksonville State, had 0 points in that one. But she's a key player on this Alabama State team. And if the Hornets are able to get her working, that can be a big boost for their play this season.
As you know, Zach, worth is not always tallied on the box score.
Here's Sheldon. Inside for Miller. Poole drives, Mikolashikova again. All 4 points have been scored by Ohio State's Rebecca Mikolashikova. Mikolashikova. Nice play by Ashley there. Here's Smith. Pearson inside, kicks it out for Smith.
And you saw Alabama State trying to go to Pearson there.
Yeah, Pearson. And an offensive foul called. Good idea, though, by Pearson. Try to take it hard inside.
So this is going to be a matchup to watch, Zach, is Farrah Pearson, going up against Rebecca Mikolashikova. Both of them are similar in the height department. They're both some of the more tenacious players out there on the floor. It's going to be a good one to see them go back and forth.
Here's Watkins. Loose ball, Pearson picks it up. And a foul called.
Specifically for Ohio State, given the matchup that we talked about on paper. But we saw it during the men's team, right? Ohio State gets off to a slow start, and then they pick it up in the second half. So nothing too concerned to be about, if you ask me.
And on cue, Braxton Miller drives inside. And Ohio State opens up the basketball game on a 6-0 run. Tadaria Ashley was wide open. Missed that one. Poole the other way. Watkins and Smith collide. Mikolashikova picks it up. And Mikesell cans the 3.
And here's where Ohio State starts to differentiate themselves from a lot of basketball teams is you have the paint attack from Mikula, and then you have the three ball from Mikesell and J.C. Sheldon. If this heats up, Ohio State is going to run away with this.
Ashley missed. Mikula with the rebound. Her 4th rebound of the game. And Watkins fouls Miller. Ohio State opening play up on a 9-0 run as Kyla Jackson checks into the basketball game. She sat out last season at Florida A&M. Poole down for Rebecca Mikula and another foul.
Alabama State foul number 5. Armani Smith.
This one's on Armani Smith for her first foul. Poole looks to inbounds. She finds Miller. And Smith with the rebound. She lost the basketball.
Careless turnover there. You cannot be giving Ohio State these kinds of opportunities. If that one actually became the Buckeyes, it looks like they're going to keep it to the Hornets.
So there is Jackson over for Sanders. Stallings, the 3rd leading scorer on the team. For Sanders in the corner. Now down low for Stallings, who goes glass and gets the bounce. Those are the first 2 points of the game for Alabama State.
Now on the board towards the end of the first quarter here. That's something you want to have happen if you're Alabama State. Would have loved to see this go earlier.
Good from Taylor Mikesell. She now has 6 points, both of which have come off the 3 ball. Pearson down low for Stallings. Great play by Rebecca Mikula. Another great play. That one's by Kyla Jackson.
So far, it looks like defense has reigned supreme in this game for both teams.
Jackson drives, count it, and the foul.
Does a good job of shooting from beyond the arc and really extending that defense, making sure they're focused on Mikula in the paint and the arc.
Jackson completes the 3-point play. The score is 12-5. One more note on Mikesell. She's 2nd on the team in points with 16.1 points per game. Sheldon recovers against Jackson. There's Mikesell. Nice moves inside. Taylor Mikesell goes glass. Pearson. Stallings.
Great use of the window on both of those last baskets. If the bank's open, it's open. Go for it.
So Tamia Stallings now with 4 points. It's now a 14-7 Ohio State lead. Sheldon with the rebound. There's Sanders to the corner, and they lose the basketball out of bounds.
And on that steal, you saw defense once again tremendous. On the other side of the ball are the Hornets. So far through this game, almost done with the first quarter, but this might be what keeps Alabama State in it with the Buckeyes is their defense.
Daria Ashley checks into the game. She averages 2.3 points per game, is one of 7 Alabama natives on the Alabama State team. Mikesell wide open for 3.
Taylor Mikesell for 3.
And this has the potential to be a career game for Taylor Mikesell if she's going to continue to be this important to Ohio State on offense.
Mikesell with 11 points.
Back into the game for the
It was
Hornets.
Rudolph who tried to save it, was not able to do so, and Ohio State gets another possession. That's now 8 turnovers for Alabama State. Mikesell again.
Just off. Looked like she couldn't decide whether she wanted to go towards the net or off the window. And the indecision is what put that one out.
Smith guarded tightly by J.C. Sheldon. She finds Ashley, who throws it for Stallings, and it goes the other way to Ricky Harris.
Hornets foul number 12.
There's a certain amount of luck involved in that turnover. Ball just fell into Ricky Harris's hands. She went, okay, let's go with this.
4 turnovers in the past minute 17 for Alabama State.
2 free throws to number 24, 7-2 Ohio State. It's certainly an impressive feat, and I've said it a lot already, Zach, and I'm gonna keep saying it again. Defense is what's doing that.
Ohio State will work on the press. Teams have had a really hard time breaking it this season. Smith is able to do so successfully. She goes all the way, but her layup's no good. And now Harris gets fouled, and she might have hurt her hand. 21. She also had a career high in rebounds in the Indiana game. I mean, 7 rebounds off the bench. That's not bad, Caleb.
No, that's not at all. Like we said, box score doesn't determine worth, and neither does whether or not you started.
Sheldon drives. Look at that play. First 2 points of the basketball game for J.C. Sheldon.
Sheldon is such a multifaceted player, and you see it there on a fancy layup.
Nifty moves by White.
Buckeye foul number 2.
Look at that. Knows exactly where she wants to do. Cut from far side to near side, right to left.
Team for the Buckeyes.
Just goes for it.
Terry Poole.
White shooting 2. Ohio State on a 6-0 run over the past minute and 3 seconds. White with the chance to break that now.
And that was big for the Lady Hornets there. 4 turnovers in the last minute 51, almost 2 minutes. Not something you want to see if you're an Alabama State fan.
Sheldon,
J.C. Sheldon.
now 4 points. White the 3.
Hannah White for 3.
Big bucket there for Alabama State. Now the lead back to 11.
So there's Poole. No good there. Sheldon tries to get the rebound, and it goes out of bounds. Nice play right there.
Brazil Watkins.
That was Watkins for her first 2 points of the game.
Alabama State continuously going at that offensive end. Starting to come back here, Zach.
And Poole might have been injured on that shot. They're on this Ohio State team, averaging 8.6 points per game to go along with 3.3 rebounds per game. Poole tied her career high with 7 assists against Indiana. And she goes 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Rudolph against the double team. To the corner, a miscommunication between Rudolph Watkins. And that's now 10 turnovers for the Hornets.
A very concerning number, especially how early we are in the game. Usually you'd see 10 in a game for a basketball team. To have 10 in a quarter is a very, very concerning number.
So there's Poole against Smith. Poole got it, and it's a three. Ohio State now has 5 points as the Buckeyes lead the Hornets 27-13 as quarter number 2 is underway on Big Ten Plus. And for Poole, Caleb, she did not start the first game of the season for Ohio State, but she's been a strong presence in the starting five ever since.
Yeah, she has. Leads the team in assists. And then you saw just a moment ago that big three-pointer to end the quarter. One of the main reasons Ohio State leads this game.
Rudolph for Crawford. Here's Sanders, guarded by Poole, works on a screen by Stallings. There's White inside. Stallings tries to go glass, and Mikulashikova comes down with the rebound. That is her 6th rebound of the basketball game. Mikulashikova for three. Crawford with the board.
Ohio State's playing good defense to limit the amount of looks Alabama State has right here.
White, Mikulashikova with the steal. There's Harris. She goes all the way.
Ricky Harris, her first points of the game from the floor. She's definitely someone Ohio State wants to get hot.
Trying to find Stallings at the block, out of bounds. As Sanders with the inbounds. She finds Watkins. Now Sanders. They've been liking going down low, and the shot just rattled in and out. Hutcherson.
Gabby Hutcherson, somebody for Ohio State, only a sophomore. She's going to be the future of this Ohio State backcourt here once staples like Sheldon and another big player like Mikesell, who transferred from Oregon, so hasn't been with the Buckeyes, but this season still has played a big role. But Hutcherson's going to get a lot of playing time over these next couple of years when those two leave.
Nice play by Watkins. Poole hands it off to J.C. Sheldon. Mikulashikova for three. Sheldon offensive rebound momentarily, but could not control it. Sanders pressing. Didn't get the bounce. Najee for the offensive rebound, can't get it.
And sometimes the rim just plays great defense. It was a great look, just didn't fall.
Sheldon for Hutcherson. Against two, out of bounds. Basketball will stay with Ohio State.
Hutcherson different than J.C. Sheldon or Taylor Mikesell is. Hutcherson is 6'2", which is only 2 inches shorter than Rebecca Mikulashikova, who of course is the staple in the painted area for the Buckeyes. So when you have a guard who's only 2 inches shorter than your center, the tallest player on the team, that gives Hutcherson a lot more room to run in the ability to stretch the floor and in the length of her game than most other shorter guards.
Sanders against Miller, works on a screen from the G. The three is drained. Jayla Crawford from downtown.
Another big three-pointer there for Alabama State. Looks like they're going to try to go to the three-point buckets to try and get themselves out of this hole.
Crawford, the second leading scorer on the Hornets. Those are her first 3 points of the game. Poole.
Into the game for the Hornets.
Let's see who that was called on. It looked like it was against
Replaces
Ohio State. It's out on it. Looked just to be out of bounds maybe on second thought.
Tamiria Thomas with the inbounds. She played 17 games as a freshman.
It's always difficult to tell with rebounds like, or with whistles like that. when there could be a foul for contact, but then also it goes out of bounds. A little tough to figure out what's going on there.
Crawford, offensive rebound, blocked by Mikulashikova. Ashley was on the ground trying to fight for the basketball.
Called it back on her.
So Taylor Mikesell, she has 11 points. Mikulashikova inside with the left hand for 2. She's got 8.
As we mentioned, Mikulashikova, the biggest player on the floor now for both teams.
Miller! But it goes out of bounds. That was an unbelievable play.
It was, but back to what I was talking to. Came over and was calling something in, but I couldn't make it out.
Mikesell with a nice play. Indicates that it was last touched by the Hornets, and the officials agree with her.
That's one of the good parts about the seats that we have here, Zach, for these BTN games, is we get to hear a lot of the action, a lot more that we would see from our usual seats for these stadium games.
Miller. Ashley with the rebound against Harris. She's able to find Sanders. Crawford around Mikulashikova with another block. Mikesell the other way. Harris.
Ricky Harris.
Great look for Ricky Harris and a textbook transition run for Ohio State. You saw how they shared the ball unselfishly, and it results in a big bucket there to keep them ahead 35-18.
Harris now with 5. Her season high is 9. Ashley.
Tadaria Ashley.
Those are her first 2 points of the game. Harris again, kicks it out. Mikesell. Splash!
Taylor Mikesell.
And you could look at Harris, who trusted Mikesell would bury that enough to where she could just take a breather on the floor. Not have to worry about getting the rebound.
Looked like one of the officials fell down. Luckily, they're okay. Sanders will slow it down. Crawford. Too hard on the 3 ball. Rudolph with the rebound. Poole blocked from behind by Ashley, who's called for the foul.
Hornets foul number 1. Taisha Rudolph, her first. Team foul number 1.
Whether it's called on Rudolph, shooting 2. She's a perfect 2 of 2 so far on free throws. Now a perfect 3 of 3.
And when you look at team fouls here, Alabama State with 8 so far,
In for the Buckeyes,
about
Casey Sheldon replaces
midway
Casey
towards the
Poole.
latter half of this second quarter here. But Ohio State only has 3, 1 from Hutchison, Miller, and Poole each.
Poole now has 7 points as she goes 2 of 2 from the free throw line again. Jackson lost the basketball. Mikesell. Bristow, the offensive rebound, gets her missed shot and then gets fouled by Watkins. It's actually a jump ball now.
And you could tell Bristow wanted a foul in there. She went up not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Hornets get inserted into the basketball game as Sheldon with a high lob finds Ricky Harris. Sheldon in the corner, lost the ball. Rudolph finds Watkins. Crawford. Watkins tried to get the offensive rebound. Instead, it goes to Sheldon.
J.C. Sheldon is dangerous with the ball in her hands. You can see Alabama State scrambling to get some defenders on her.
J.C. Sheldon.
And that's exactly what happens when you don't.
Ohio State on a 7-0 run over the past minute 14. Harris takes it away. Miller chases it down. Sheldon for three. Good.
Jason is Mikesell here. They're both breaking out from beyond the arc especially, but in the scoring column in general.
And a foul called as Watkins goes
Buckeyes
up.
foul number 21, Heaven Bristow.
That's
her
against
first,
Heaven
team
Bristow
number
for her
1.
first foul. Ohio State now on a 10-0 run over the past minute 42.
2 shots for Brazil Watkins.
So Brazil Watkins, the freshman guard, 5'9", was named an All-Star, or All-State rather, twice in Michigan. She's from Battle Creek, Michigan, out of Lakeview High School.
And once again, if you see the replay there on the foul, Ohio State is great knowing to go up with both hands, but the second they bring one of them down, that's when the foul is called.
Mikesell wide open. She drains it again. Taylor Mikesell, 17 points. Bristow swats that one.
Mikesell responsible for 35% of Ohio State's scoring. It's a very, very hot hand for Taylor Mikesell here as you get to see a replay of that beautiful splash from downtown. Buried it from High Street, Zach.
And one of the strengths for Ohio State, they have so many different scorers who on any given night could be the #1 scoring threat. It could be Mika Lashikova inside. She can also shoot the three as well. JC Sheldon doing mid-range. And then Taylor Mikesell can go all out on a 3-ball.
And I think that's the key word there, Zach, when you bring that up is could be. Or the key couple words I should say is could be the leading scorers here. We talked about things that we thought the Buckeyes could work on here as Ricky Harris buries a three. And I brought up free throws as one of the big ones, but another thing is getting other players involved in those critical numbers, effective numbers from scoring, not just 2 or 3 points every other couple games, but in those big numbers, the double digits, even the 20s in some areas, but trying to spread the scoring around past the ball.
I don't know if the camera caught it, but a great moment over here as the ball went out of bounds and went to a young girl in the stands, and she handed it back, and Ricky Harris gave her a high five. It's got to be a great moment as you're a young fan going to a game, getting to interact with players like that. Is Sheldon a little bit too far to the right?
I thought you were going to talk about Brutus seeing the loose ball coming, then basically diving into the second row of seats.
Crawford for Smith. Nice play inside, and the G for 2.
That's one of the rare instances where Alabama State has had a wide open look, courtesy of a lapse from the Buckeye defense.
There's Theory, back for Sheldon. Tough shot. Theory with the offensive rebound for Bristow. Sheldon, no good. Second try. Sheldon has 9 points for Ohio State. This is her first trip to the free throw line of the evening. She had a game earlier in the season in which she went 10 of 10 from the free throw line. That was against Norfolk State back earlier in the season.
Replaces Taylor Mikesell.
She's certainly been one of the captains on this team, a veteran leader. One of the best to play here, no doubt. She'll go down as when her time in a Buckeyes uniform is over.
Rudolph is running out of time. She found the G. Back to Rudolph. Open lane to the basket.
Taisha Rudolph.
Those are her first 2 points of the game.
Starting to see more and more Hornets getting involved here on the scoring.
Harris got the roll. She has 10. That is a season high.
Another foul against Alabama State.
22, Tadaria Ashley.
Right hand and then brought it down on Theory.
Theory looking to get on the scoreboard. Does not have any points so far in 2 minutes of play. So 42 seconds left. Theory almost got some fingertips on that one. Open for Rudolph, inside. Gets blocked and fouled. Free throw line. Trying to cut down the Hornet deficit. Rudolph is a great player in terms of getting assists. Leads the team with 13 assists on the season. Only averages 0.8 points per game. So she's really more of a facilitator, but she does have 4 points today.
We've seen a lot of different players step up into that lead role for both teams here. We'll see by the end of it who comes out on top here.
So only a couple difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Sheldon, basketball's loose. Najee takes it away. Crawford, a few seconds left, and she got it. She is also an all-state track and field athlete. And just a freshman playing at this high level against Ohio State. That's an impressive accomplishment as the second half is underway. Crawford for Sanders. Alabama State ended that first half scoring their final 3 field goal attempts. As here's Rudolph against Mikulashikova. Pearson, a lob down low for Stallings, and Rudolph was almost able to save it.
Yeah, A for effort from Rudolph there, but turnover in favor of Ohio State.
Ohio State shot 53% from the field, 44% from downtown. Mikesell back for Sheldon, who had 11 points in that first half. Mikesell wide open.
Just short.
Wow, goes glass. Taylor Mikesell with 19. The Hornets having trouble, but Crawford's able to tip it to herself. Stallings. Miller the other way.
Braxton Miller, we saw a lot of her last season. We know what she can do for the Buckeyes. Hasn't been asked to do as much this season so far. Maybe you'll see that change, but whatever role Ohio State has asked her to fill, she's done it tremendously.
The G checks back in for. Yeah, talking about Braxton Miller is Mikesell. Good!
Taylor Mikesell for 3.
22 points for Taylor Mikesell. Set back on December the 1st.
And just like we were talking about with Alabama State, Mikesell's number is being called by Ohio State. She's answering it, certainly filling whatever role Ohio State needs her to fill.
And the G stepped out of bounds. 20 turnovers committed by Alabama State.
Ohio State leading by 30, but still a crucial opportunity is every chance on offense.
Mikulashikova draws the foul.
Slick.
Mikulashikova now has 9. So yeah, Sheldon tried the 3 Then Ohio State with the offensive rebounds. They've been doing a good job getting second chances today. Alabama State came into play as one of the top teams in the country in terms of offensive rebounds as Crawford, no good. Poole with the rebound.
And going back to those free throws we just saw from Mikula as it's thrown out of bounds by Alabama State. She's 2 for 2 tonight from the line.
Taylor Mikesell's collegiate career high as Poole drains a three. So Taylor Mikesell had 28 points versus Seattle on November the 28th, 2020 while playing for Oregon. So she could get a new career high.
And maybe she didn't get all the fanfare that she deserved when she decided to transfer to Columbus, but Mikesell certainly deserving of all the praise she gets from Buckeyes fans. And now I think looking back on it, one of the bigger transfers of college basketball was Mikesell to Ohio State.
That 28-point performance was actually her first game as an Oregon Duck. She went on a streak in that game when she had 7 consecutive three-point field goals. Miller, the G with the rebound.
Buckeye fans, even though they're leading by 34 here, I'd still love to see a 7 three-pointers in a row streak from Taylor Mikesell, I believe.
The pass might have gone to the official, and I think he dodged it. It's dodgeball.
They're down big, but can't give up here.
Yeah, that's 21 turnovers for them as Sheldon travels.
Looked like the little bit of hesitation where she was considering pulling up from 3, but then also driving in. I think that's what did her in with that foul.
So Ohio State with 66 points compared to Alabama State's 32. A big reason why is just looking at the turnover disparity. 21 turnovers compared to only 9.
You see Alabama State trying to get past Ohio State's press now that they're going full court formation here.
Nice play. Sanders the other way. Count it and the foul. Brazil Watkins continues to lead all scores for Alabama State. She has 8 points, a career high.
I'm not sure, frankly, what Kateri Poole did for this foul. She didn't.
His career high was 4 points, which she had in the Jacksonville State game on December the 5th. She has double that total today.
Ohio State, they're 5 on the floor right now, a combined 6 personal fouls. If you look at that for Alabama State, their rotation on the floor has 12 combined. Kind of tail of the game in terms of fouls.
The Hornets now on a 7-0 run over the past minute 19. Ohio State has turned over the ball 4 times over the past minute and a half. Sanders goes back up top against Mikesell. Alabama State finally is getting a little bit of a run. Deep 3, Poole with the rebound. Now the Buckeyes will look to snap a 7-0 Hornet run. Poole, hard foul.
Poole is, but we saw her go down a little bit early in the first half. Doesn't appear to be bothering her anymore. She's still willing to risk the body to go in for those buckets.
That was Najee who was called for the foul. She was trying to go for the block, and she is very good at blocks. She actually owns the career block record at UIC with 167 back when she played for Illinois.
Looking back inside there, that matchup between Mikula and Pearson we were talking about earlier at the top of the broadcast. Still seeing those two battle around the restricted arc.
Sheldon against Rudolph. Mikesell, Miller in the corner. Mikesell wide open. Sheldon with the offensive rebound. Mikesell has had a lot of wide open 3 attempts here today.
I don't think that's...
Mikesell. Rudolph with the rebound.
I was going to say, I don't think that's because Alabama State is leaving her open. I think that's because she's so good at getting open and freeing herself from defense that you're seeing her get several wide open looks from 3.
Tough angle for Watkins. It looks like Najee called for the offensive foul.
Hornets foul number 14, Jaden
To the closing moments of the game, almost the final quarter. Buckeyes have been excelling both in the paint and beyond the arc, so what's not to like for head coach Kevin McGuff?
Jackson with the rebound. Mikesell missed the triple. Pearson, nice moves.
Vera Pearson.
Ohio State on a 3.5-minute field goal drought. Miller thought about a 3. Here's Sheldon for Mikesell.
A for effort on almost Mikesell there.
Top. Caleb? You know the trick? Like when I think you put your lips on the opposite side of the cup and then you try to drink it. Tough 3 ball from Tadaria Ashley's no good. Sheldon, good.
This has been a showcase, a clinic, if you will, on how to shoot a 3-point shot, excuse me, from Ohio State.
Into the game for the Buckeyes, Abby Hutchinson replaces Braxton Miller.
Hutcherson checks in. 5 left in the 3rd quarter. She finds Pearson. Ashley tried to go glass. Hutcherson with the rebound. Mikesell for J.C. Sheldon. Over to Hutcherson. Nice moves. Can't convert on the shot attempt. And Jackson the other way. Slows things down and gives the basketball to Farrah Pearson.
Some great defense there from Ricky Harris.
It's doubly impressive for you,
Keep
Caleb.
going back to that.
Jackson for Pearson. Loses the basketball. Recovers. Cannot get the roll. Bristow with the board. Mikesell wide open from the corner. Splash!
Taylor Mikesell for 3.
Mikesell has 25.
Going back to that last possession for Alabama State, when you're down as much as they are, you cannot afford to miss wide open looks like that down by the basket. Pearson has to convert there.
Ohio State on a 6-0 run. Smith to inbound the basketball, and she finds Crawford. It will now be Poole's turn to inbound the basketball. She finds Harris up top.
24 turnovers for the Hornets compared to Ohio State's 11.
Mikesell, 7 of 15 from downtown. There's Poole. Nice dribbles. Hutcherson crashes the boards for the putback.
And this is exactly what I was talking about with the height of Gabby Hutcherson, making her different than most guards in college basketball and on this Ohio State team. At 6'2", she has a better chance of grabbing a lot of those loose boards than the typically 5'8", 5'9" guards that you see play in college basketball. So Ohio State's going to take advantage of that through these next couple of years.
There was a nice play by Harris there. Was able to keep control of the basketball to find Mikesell for two. Mikesell now has 27. Mikesell. That would have been for a career high.
And this is dangerous territory for Taylor Mikesell. There's a certain point where you've shot so many that you begin to cool down a little bit. Taylor Mikesell, I think she's getting to that point, constantly chucking them up and missing these as of late.
There's Ashley over for Jackson. And the ball goes out of bounds. It will remain with the Hornets. Finds the G for Pearson. To a 16-4 record a season ago, a number 2 seed in the SWAC standings. An exceptional head coach.
Fantastic. And you know, when you look at a career like hers, being at the same place for 24 years, you can tell Alabama State knows how great she is at the helm of this program and knows that she's got a lot more to give to these Hornet basketball players.
Smith kicks it out for Crawford. Poole. Hutcherson almost had the offensive rebound. Instead, it goes to Jackson. Thought about the 3 ball. Instead, gives it to Smith. Goes out of bounds. Last touched by Ricky Harris.
Team chemistry is something that is big in sports. So allowing Alabama State, or preventing them rather, from getting a chemistry going is crucial for Ohio State.
There's Sanders. Just came in for Smith. Dakia Sanders with 2 points on the game thus far. And a shot clock violation. Jackson unable to put one up in time.
Yeah, clearly didn't beat the horn there. The officials saw it. Immediate call and another great possession for the Buckeyes defense, keeping Alabama State off the board.
So Ohio State still with some of their starters in. Poole, Mikulashikova. Hutcherson open 3 ball, knocks it down.
Gabby Hutcherson for 3.
We'll see how Alabama State answers back here. We've got less than half of what Ohio State has on the board.
Yeah, they still have some of their starters in as well, and Sanders and Pearson. It's been a very good game for the freshman Watkins, who has 9 points.
Alabama State finding themselves at right about 70%, 7 of 10 from the free throw line here. That make does some good for them.
Yeah, both teams have shot roughly even from the free throw line, 73% for the Hornets, 69% for the Buckeyes. A little bit of contact between Sanders and Harris. Cross court for Hutcherson. In and out. Theory. Mikulashikova for 2. She's got 12. That's a 3. Brazil Watkins from downtown. She has 12. Mikulashikova. Hutcherson. Back from Mikulashikova. Harris up top.
Great defense by the Hornets right now.
A foul called against Kateri Poole. Harris to the rack. Another foul.
Hornets foul number 13, Brazil Watkins, her second. Team foul number
That was
2.
on Brazil Watkins for her second foul. Good idea by Harris, just driving to the rim, drawing the foul and going to the free throw line. Her season high was 9, which she had on December the 1st. A career high was 11 points, which she had back on December the 6th, 2020. So that's now a new career high for Ricky Harris with 12 points.
Ohio State shooting roughly 68%, closer to 69 if you round that number from the free throw line. I've been mentioning free throws a couple times during this game, and if you look back at it, the Purdue game, you got some action there from Ricky Harris.
Yeah, Harris
she came over to the media table and
I think bumped into the broadcast table.
Looks like
it might have hurt her wrist, perhaps.
This is a rare moment of action for us.
Oh, yeah. You're very athletic, Caleb Spinner.
If only I agreed with you.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like Harris is being looked over by a trainer now.
Hard to tell exactly what happened when she ran over here. I certainly hope she's okay.
Yeah, she just had career high, as we mentioned, knocking down a couple of free throws, and then an odd little occurrence at the broadcasting table. Because ordinarily, if you run out of bounds, you don't have those. It's not that high up with the chairs and the audience, but with that broadcast table a little bit higher up, and she might have hit her hand or wrist, perhaps. Sanders works on a screen from Pearson. Watkins tries to go glass, and it's Bristow with the rebound.
What a feed from Kateri Poole. There was no bucket at the end of it, but a slick pass.
White undershoots the three. That was a good opportunity there for the Hornets. They just weren't able to convert on it. State leads Alabama State. Do you just focus more on just trying to work on some things that maybe you could take from this game and move into one of the other games moving forward on the season? Or do you still want to try to play with your top players, keep some of those starters in? Because Sanders and Pearson, they were starters. They're still in the game.
I think that's a question a lot of coaches have debated over, and it really relies on what kind of coach Freeman Jackson is. I personally would try to rotate as many looks as I can, different combinations of 5 on the floor with the time that I have left here in the game, just to try to use this. We've talked about it, 7 different games so far, 7 different starting 5 lineups. I would try to use this to get ahead so I know who I'm going to start going into my next game. I know who works well, kind of as a sneak preview, if you will, if you understand that, Zach.
Pearson got her own rebound. Could not convert on the second try, however.
We just got a text from some of our colleagues, by the way, who saw what happened over here with Ricky Harris and asked, did Harris just knock down your stuff? No.
Yeah, you were all right, Caleb. Let's hope that Harris is all right.
Yeah.
As it looks like she's seated on the bench now, and she's smiling, talking to J.C. Sheldon. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, certainly probably a stinger. Road against a tough opponent. We saw in-house how they did against number 10 Indiana on the road versus number 13 Michigan. It'll be interesting to see where Ohio State is in terms of ranked conference play.
Stallings lost the basketball, taken away by Jones.
First minutes of the game we're seeing from Caitlin Costner.
And for Jones and Costner, it's nice to see they're getting some action. It's just 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jones puts up a tough shot, gets her own rebound. But the shot clock violation occurred first.
It looked like she might have beaten the clock there. Either way, missed bucket.
But it's always nice to see when either team, when the outcome is pretty much decided, when they can go deeper onto the benches and put in some players that haven't had a ton of playing time over the course of the season. I always think that's important. If an injury occurs or moving forward in terms of development for further seasons, it's always good for any player to get a little bit of playing time
that they're able to call back on, so the second you need to rely on them for a bigger role, they're not starstruck or blinded by the lights, if you will.
Here's Costner for Jones. Jones averaging 0.5 points per game. Now Hutcherson, nice moves. So Hutcherson has 7 points as Ohio State leads 88-45. A 3.5-minute scoring drought for the Hornets. Sanders got the roll.
I don't know how. There were several white jerseys to that one. It looked like Ohio State had that play shut down.
Bristow also got the roll.
The rim's just being kind to some of these shots here.
Yeah, good rim. It's been doing it. Evan Bristow now has 5 points.
I think both teams right now are going to try to avoid stoppages in play. I think everybody in the arena, both on the benches and in the stands, knows how this game is going to end.
And a 30-second
as soon as I say that, Freeman Jackson in these final almost 3 minutes.
There's Watkins. She's had a great game. Only player on the Hornets side with double figures in points. She has 11. Pearson. And another shot clock violation as Hannah White was not able to get that one up in time.
We've seen quite a few of those tonight. More than I usually see.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. We've seen quite a few. Costner to the front court for Bristow. Theory.
Taylor Theory.
Alabama State's next game is Saturday, December the 18th at 1 p.m. versus Mobile. So working on a couple things as they get set for that one. Lorene, playing against a team like Ohio State, Caleb, the 24th ranked team in the country, it's got to be good practice for moving forward into some of these conference games and against some of the more common opponents for a team. Playing a team like Ohio State, or really just going up and playing any top 25 team, it's got to do a lot to help build up a program.
It's a measuring stick, Zach. It's a chance to see where you stack up against a fantastic program. SWAC, not one of the bigger conferences when you look at the whole of women's basketball, so you don't get many chances if you're Alabama State to go up against a tournament contender, an AP top 25 opponent. So they're certainly making the most of this game, getting to see how they square off against a big. And that looked like a good block from Costner on second review, but officials thought there was a little bit more contact than deemed necessary.
Sanders now with 8, goes 2-2 from the free throw line. And Ohio State has trouble inbounding the ball. Now Alabama State will get the basketball right back. Hannah White now has 6 points in 16 minutes of play.
1 per minute, an interesting statistic there for Hannah White.
Taylor
Fury, a nice play down low.
And one of the biggest things here to take away for Ohio State, other than the score and this being another win to add to their schedule, improve to 8-2, is how many Ohio State players have scored tonight in meaningful ways. Not just 1 or 2 buckets, but who have come down the stretch, who have seen time. You see Costner getting a lot of valuable minutes here. A lot of positives to take away from this win for Ohio State.
Under 30 seconds remain in the basketball game.
We'll see what Alabama State decides to do. I think they're just going to let this play roll out. Now Smith is wide open on the near side there.
Yeah, she's looking for her first points of the season because her only other playing time was just the 6 minutes off the bench last game. Instead, Watkins with 3 seconds left. Can't get the roll. That ends the basketball game. The final score, Ohio State 97, Alabama State 51.